Warren Buffett once said that if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And I think this is key today as it was back then. Warren Buffett, if you don't know who he is, big time investor, worth 147 billion, so obviously has an idea of what he's talking about. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you how to earn passive income through crypto. So first things first, I suppose, is it can be really passive. What is passive income? Now, for me, passive income is pretty much ability to earn income without actually having to do much work, I suppose. For other people, they might refer to it as just a way to earn money without having to do anything. I don't think that's obviously that is 100% passive, and I think it's very hard to do that. And crypto is not 100% passive. You will need to put in work. You need to understand what's happening, and I think that is one of the key reasons why I would always push back a little bit on that passive income side of things in crypto. One of the key things here, I suppose, is opportunities of how you can go about this and can cryptocurrency in general be really that passive. So you have to obviously understand what assets you're wanting to buy, staking, yield farming. There's a lot of different things to understand here. Knowing it's possible is only the start, and I think this is the key for anyone that's maybe touching in this entire space and understand a bit more about it. So we need to focus on what to invest in and pretty much how you would start this entire journey. So first things first, I'm going to just go over here. This is trade and view. This is going to tell you overall how the markets are doing in terms of what way is the market looking, going up or down, or are we negative or whatever, going sideways. So this is the first place you need to kind of have an idea what's happening. But next, what we're going to look at here is tokens. So in this scenario here, you have the opportunity to kind of see what kind of assets you're wanting to get into. Now, obviously, from my personal own experience here, as I tend to focus on tokens listed in the top whatever 50 in this position. Obviously, the further you go out, the bigger risks they are. But if you're looking to earn passive income, what you're looking to do is set up LPs, which are going to allow you to yield farm, which in turn will give you that semi-passive income, I suppose, style to it. So with that in mind, even if we just look at Ethereum here at the moment, or Ethereum and Bitcoin, you have the opportunity to invest these into different pools. So you can lend out your assets here, you're getting 1.6%. It's not an extreme. However, the key here is where it's going to make the difference is you can jump around onto different networks here, and it'll probably give you different rates for different amounts. So it's 2% already over here, 2.03. And the thing about this is the very, very basics of what you can earn from crypto in terms of passive income. But the thing here is you have to understand, but before you kind of dive into all this and decide, yes, I'm going to start earning some, you really need to understand, I suppose. I personally think it's one of the biggest points is research. Without proper research done, what's going to happen is you're going to get into positions, you're going to get into liquidity positions, and you're going to be chasing hype. And if you're chasing hype, you're going to get wrecked. And I think that is one of the most important things you can understand from crypto in general, that you need to understand and do your research on things. So there's some tools here that I like to use. And if I go into my own group, click in here, and we brought to this link. This link is just going to give us a few assets and a few tools basically I like to use to help with my overall research. Again, it just gives me some information on to positions, pretty much your own experience, things like that. Again, just gives you kind of some general feedback. Now, what you will want to do is if you're looking to get into, obviously, some of the assets that are a bit further down, you might know much about. So let's say we're jumping into Aave token itself. So what you have to do is do a bit of research. What's the token supply? How much tokens, the max amount out there? Because I see people regularly talk about XRP could potentially reach $10,000, $20,000 per token, but you have to remember the max supply here is, I think, 100 billion. Circulating supply is only 59. So there's a long way to go before all tokens come out. So obviously, as more and more of these come out, that's literally putting the market cap of XRP at the entire crypto market now. So you can just start to see how potentially, crazy it is to put prices like that on tokens. But understanding tokenomics and things like that is going to be a massive help, and it definitely is something that you're going to have to pay close attention to when you're doing your research. And just keeping on the point of research, obviously, this is where this comes in, the group. So within the group, what I've done is I've started to build it out now, and this is going to allow you to kind of get more involved in research. I have a second call happening here. Obviously, now when you're watching this video, it's after happening and everything, but a second call happening and within the group where we do a deep dive on different platforms that are used regularly inside yield farming. And pretty much the aim here is to provide as much information as we can as a community to kind of see different things that are happening. So I think this is one of the valuable reasons of being inside of a group, inside of a community. Yeah, $22 a month at the moment, and this is a founder's rate. Founder's rate will obviously change once I get to probably 15, 20 members, and then that's it. Price will increase. Founder's rate will stay there forever. So with that, we have the research. We're going to jump on to the next one, which is obviously buy low and sell high. It still surprises me the amount of people that buy high and sell low, but anyway. So on this, you want to understand what's low and what's high. So in comparison to today, and over the last maybe day or two, this is low in comparison to yesterday. However, in terms of maybe the last week, it's still low in comparison to it. So you need to understand what markets are doing, where they are in their journeys and stuff like that. So obviously here, I'm a bit more cautious of buying Ethereum up at these high ones. However, can it run again up higher? Yes, of course it can. And for me, all I do is I pay close attention to kind of different areas. So could we get a pullback to roughly the 4,000 mark? I think we could. However, we have tested this area already. So again, not 100% accurate if we do or don't. You just need to be aware of what's the plan, what's the options. And, you know, as I said, buying high, buying and selling, or buying low and selling high, even saying to myself, is key here, I think, to understanding that. So diversification is probably the next important one. And diversification is going to allow you to basically don't put all your eggs into one basket. I've seen so many people do this, and the problem is a lot of people do this with tokens that are completely crazy. So I'm just going to use this as an example over here, the top gainers. The top gainers, I've seen people get into tokens like this that have pumped massively in the last 24 hours. They put everything they have into it, and the next day it drops by double the amount it went up to today. I think that's something you just have to be so careful of. So like, even in this scenario here, putting 100% of your money into, say, BNB here at this stage is crazy. However, if I have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, I would split it up evenly kind of between a few different tokens that I want to hold, or buy a few different one or two assets and then look to yield farm them positions to build out the other bags even more. Definitely an opportunity and definitely an option that is valid. And, you know, it always kind of helps you manage your positions and build out your positions better. Staying up to date is probably a key one, and again, this is where the group is going to come in. It's going to have the opportunity to stay up to date on overall market sentiment, what's happening. Again, it's not a signals group. It's not a group that's going to be like, crypto's going down today, everyone out, crypto's going up, everyone in. The idea of it here is that we'll be able to gather information as a community, and within a community we have a certain area that we can always share it, and again, just helping everyone grow their positions. I think that's key. That's one of the key reasons why I'm doing it. And finally, I suppose, is long-term planning. This is where I have this image. Hopefully you can see it. I'll try and make it a bit bigger there. So this is where I kind of have this thing, long-term planning. So for me, this is my general approach to crypto. I have a treasury of assets that I hold. I put them into lending and borrowing, unlock it to capital, grow then using that, and pretty much just rinse and repeat this flywheel constantly. It allows your overall portfolio to grow on a regular basis, and you know, you're kind of constantly growing your positions and manage it. Again, it's not a 100% passive income. It's more or less semi-passive, where you do need to put work in, and I think it's just another opportunity out there for everyone. And I suppose on that last point, I'll just go over to here, and this is kind of a breakdown of what a LP position for me would look like. So LP position is obviously your liquidity position, and in that, let's assume we're putting in $1,000 into an LP position. Well, 30% of rewards go to long-term holding, 60% are compounded, and potentially 10% go to tokens. So obviously the DEX token here in this scenario, you could change it if you wanted it. You could just decide you want to put it into Ethereum. Let's say your long-term tokens are just Bitcoin and Solana. You could still put your 30% into that. Your 60% compounded means that goes back up into your LP, which in turn the following week or the following month, whenever you claim, pretty much increases your overall amounts that you're getting to come out with. And again, each one of these 30s, 60s and 10s, I would consider as more or less semi-passive income, because as I said, I don't really have to do anything to earn it. I initially set up the position up here, and from there, that's pretty much it. So look, that is my approach of how I would potentially get my money to work for me while I sleep, and not have to constantly be chasing and constantly trying to work, obviously, and giving your time up for money. I think the key thing here is we have 24 hours in the day, I think we have the ability with yield farming and crypto to have our own money being generated for us, provided we have some sort of systems, some sort of strategies and plans in place, and we're not just throwing money into the random tokens up here that are just pumping today and wondering why we're not able to build out our positions. So look, if anyone is interested in learning more about the group, let me know in the comments. You know, as I said, if you're interested in joining, let me know obviously when you join. You know, definitely a big thing that I'm building out. I'm focusing more and more of my time on this now to build it out to, as I said, help as many people as I can within the crypto space to build out semi-passive income in DeFi and yield farms. So look, we're going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.